back to one of my favorite guests, Lora Ries, Senior Research Fellow in Homeland Security at the Center for Technology Policy at Heritage Foundation. Lora, great to have you back. Uh, Unprecedented use of executive authority, making law or changing regulation to what end?
Uh, it's clearly open borders are here, and the door is opening more every day, and the flow seems to be just going in one direction. The government is becoming an active participant in helping people come here. For example, the parents who had previously been deported but still have children here. These are the same parents who the left claims, the government has failed to reunite with their children. Well, this administration seeks to reunite them with the children, but here in the U.S. So it's just one-way flow, and that's in to the U.S., and it is greatly narrowing who will be deported. So not many will be leaving the U.S.
And the point you just mentioned about coming back, I mentioned resources. Taxpayer dollars are the core. We pay for this. And of the American people, I don't know, in some way, do they not have a chance here? Because no matter what, the bill comes back to us.
That's right. And this administration is certainly putting Americans last. There's a new hierarchy, and they are putting illegal immigrants above legal immigrants above U.S. citizens. And instead of trying to prevent illegal immigration, they're just going to process them then, and then Americans pay for it. And it's not a good picture.
Let's talk about some of the policies that are being changed. The former vice president, the president has ended effectively the Remain in Mexico program when it comes to asylum seekers or any illegal alien looking to cross into our southern border. What does that do to the to the points of entry and to immigration?
Yeah, so right on day one, the Biden administration gave out very conflicting and chaotic direction. It basically said, new caravanners or new illegal immigrants, you can come in. We're not going to make you wait in Mexico. Old caravanners who are already in the Remain in Mexico program, you stay put, don't go anywhere, it's naive and it's chaotic. It's not going to be respected. And the numbers at the border continue to go up. They started rising in September due to the Biden effect, and these migrants didn't even wait for the election. And the number for January, it looks like, is going to hit 80,000. And it sends the message that we will let you in. We will process you in instead of making you wait in Mexico, which was a very effective and lawful tool. It's in the statute that stopped the caravans, because when migrants learned claiming fear wasn't their golden ticket to get into the U.S. and disappear, they stopped coming.
Let's talk about the impact that you and I have talked about before on the workers in America, and especially now. The pandemic, the shutdowns, businesses failing, and the areas where there is the most competition when you bring in these or allow in these illegals who are therefore caught and released into the country, they have to be taken care of in the sense that they need to eat, they need to sleep. Those are resources. They may use private foundations, but it's usually largely taxpayer dollars that are being used here. And then there's the wage suppression, because you have an oversupply of labor and competitiveness with Americans who often are not in the higher rungs of the economic ladder. So what does that look like?
Yeah, so for illegal immigrants coming into the country and looking to work, they compete directly with our low-skill workers, our American poor, who need these jobs themselves. And in a COVID era and shutdowns, the situation is acute. And we have to prioritize Americans getting back to work and turning this economy around, and to keep the spigot flowing with more supply of illegal aliens and people who are not authorized to work here is just aggravating the situation, and will really delay any economic recovery.
Let's take that to the next step. Resources or education. You and I have talked about this before. We don't even know the real number, but we always hear 11 million. The real number has to be much higher, because I don't believe for a moment that illegal aliens don't help others get in, that it hasn't grown in years. The problem hasn't grown, and it is a problem. So education, healthcare, two big resources. We hear this, Lora. Hospitals are overburdened. ICUs are overburdened. Capacities are full. But illegal aliens use emergency rooms like you and I would probably, or at least I'll speak for myself, go over to the urgent care.
Yes, and both healthcare and education are serious, have serious price tags. And if you think about the COVID vaccination alone, and how much money taxpayers have paid to get those vaccines here, but there still aren't enough vaccines. And as we are, struggling to get our parents and our grandparents appointments to receive that vaccine, DHS has announced that vaccine should be given to anyone regardless of immigration status. Why on earth should our parents or grandparents have to wait in line behind someone who's not supposed to be here? And in terms of education, many schools throughout the country are still not open for in-person learning, or they do hybrid programs for kids with special needs. They can go into schools, or English as a second language. I know hybrid programs allow them to go into schools. And meanwhile, other kids are waiting and stuck at home on virtual learning, and it's just not working. So it's just another example of putting Americans last, yet paying the bill.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.